Well, there are times when the 20th over of an innings with a side batting first can be a little bit hectic. It can be busy, but a quadruple wicket maiden to finish with. That too from a bowler who's been going at 10s, 11s, even 12s in the tournament so far. Umran Malik rediscovered himself. Of course, 3 of them were to him. 1 was a run out, but nonetheless, it was all about him in that final over. The brakes were put on the aggressive Punjab side, and they finished up with the same score they had at the start of the last over. 151 for 6, finished up at 151 all out. Umran Malik 4 for 28. Simply outstanding, blew away the bottom, but was also consistent throughout his first few overs. The other thing we can say, Kane Williamson had a reason behind putting Punjab into bat. He had a look at the surface. He knew the strength of his bowlers, but there's so much more to discuss right here on Cricbuzz Live at the first half of this first game in today's doubleheader. I'm joined by Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar. It was a fabulous performance from Kane's boys, Michael, but you'd have to say Umran Malik, what a talent. And today we see why they've kept him back or retained him.
Yeah, absolutely. That pace, that awareness of Kane Williamson of knowing when to bowl his strike bowler. I thought, you look at the figures of Bhubaneswar Kumar and Umran Malik, 7 for 50 in 8 overs, that combination. And that is where the Punjab team are really struggling. Apart from Liam Livingstone, they just couldn't get going. They didn't quite have the kind of game awareness either when players were coming in. Surely you just give the strike to Liam Livingstone. He was playing so well, but they were chewing up balls. You could see that Liam was getting frustrated. And that's really when I look at teams, are they operating as a team or they operating as individuals? I thought today the Punjab team batted as individuals. They didn't help out Liam Livingstone. He's the one that's flying, so you just give him the strike. They were all trying to hit the ball to the boundary, trying to get it into the stands. And when you're in a situation where you just know there's one player that's playing so well, you just give him the strike. They didn't manage to do that because of the expertise of the bowling from Kane's team, the Sunrise. It's just outstanding, brilliant captaincy, great combinations. And the skill levels of Bhubaneswar just always seem to get better and better. Those little cutters, subtle kind of variations, magnificent.
Yeah, we'll come back to the individuals in a moment, Lisa, but let's just bring you into this on that phase of the innings when you're expecting boundaries to fly. 14.3, a boundary was hit by Livingstone. After that, there was a situation where he had a chance to take 2, and it was turned down by Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan then swung and missed. He gets out. New batsman comes in, swings, misses. Livingstone doesn't get any more strike. As Michael said, gets frustrated. His wicket falls. And then suddenly you find yourself on a pitch that maybe wasn't a 200 pitch, but still about 20 short.
Yeah, and they're the little things, isn't it? And no doubt Anil Kumble will speak about the fact that they needed to be a little bit better in giving him the strike. I wrote down a couple of notes, like there was 19 balls between 14.3 when he scored that 50 and then 17.6 where he hit the next boundary. And out of those balls, he faced 8. 3 of them were wide. So he only got bat on ball 5 times. Now, for a guy who's absolutely flying, that's just frustrating. And like Michael was saying, you could see the fact that he was really getting frustrated by it. And when you start to do that, you lose your shape. You try and hit extra hard. You try and play catch up when it's not possible against a side, the Sunrisers side, that are pretty good at the back end. We already showed you in the pre-match about what Bhubaneswar Kumar and Natarajan have been able to do at the death as well as in the power play. So it was always going to be a big ask. But, I mean, credit firstly to Liam Livingstone. He's playing out of his skin. But for the Punjab side, 20-30 short just by a couple of guys going too hard or Liam Livingstone not finding a way to get him back on strike. That's the difference.
Yeah, and that last over, Michael, could have been so different. I mean, Umran Malik said in his interview at the end of the innings that he knew who he was bowling to at the other end. He saw Odean Smith deep in his crease. He knew what he could possibly do to him, and he gets him out. Now, Liam Livingstone on strike for the start of the last over would have been a complete different kettle of fish. A guy hitting the ball well as Umran Malik was bowling, that could have disappeared for 3-4 boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, if you're bowling to Liam, you're probably a millimetre away from missing your lines or lengths, and it's going to go into the stands. When you're bowling at the other players, you've probably got a yard or two to play with. And also the pressure that you'd feel on yourself running into bowl to someone like that. If you're running into bowl to Liam, there's a tension in your body, in your mind, but that kind of frees up when you've known that he's back in the sheds. That 29 for 6 in the last 5 for the Punjab, that's a real poor display from the foundation that was set. They're in such a good position going into the last 5 overs. I don't think it's the road that we possibly thought it was going to be. I don't think it is an over 200 pitch, but if those last 5 overs had just been decent, which is 50 off the last 5, that'd be another 21 runs. If it had gone really well, which again with someone like Liam playing the way that he was, could have got to 60. That's another 31 runs, which I think would have been well beyond par on this kind of surface. But this is the Sunrisers. This is what they do. They squeeze and they restrict the opposition to this kind of total, and they've got a batting unit, and in particular 2 players in Kane Williamson and Aidan Markram, that they know that they won't have to take too many risks. If one of those 2 can be the glue, they only need a cameo or 2 just from the others around them, and they should have enough to get over the line.
But let's talk about the individuals. We'll have a look at the Hyderabad 11 in a bit. Let's just talk about the individuals in question. We've mentioned Umran Malik and Bhuvaneshwar at the top, but Liam Livingstone, you cannot praise him enough. On that kind of surface, you've got no Mayank Agarwal playing. They lose early wickets. Shikhar's gone. He knows he has to play maybe slightly within himself, and yet he found the right times to get the boundaries. And that's why I think this knock is even more special than a day when everyone's blasting and he's blasting too.
Yeah, you're right. It takes a special player to be able to assess the conditions, assess how many wickets have fallen, who's still to come, what bowlers are left, who do I target, which side do I target. All of this is going on in players' minds. And to be able to go through the gears when he needed to shows you that he is a class player, and that's why he's gone for a big amount of money this auction, and he's been able to do the job so far. So a special innings, but I have a feeling it might be lost.
It might be, but I'm just trying to compare it slightly to Jos Buttler, Michael. He got 100 on a day when he was smashing everything out of the park, including in the power play. He follows that up on a day when he's struggling. The team are struggling. He still bides his time, plays till the 20th over, and finishes with 70 of 49.
Yeah, I mean, I think Livingstone is a smart player. He's not just a player that can launch the ball out of the park and a long way out of the park. He's got a real smart cricket brain. You notice when he first came out there, he just tried to play the ramps because it was 60 metres behind him. So he's always kind of targeting the grounds where, the dimensions of the ground, which is easy accessible. And it's not always the case because he can hit the ball that far, but he's got a smart cricket brain. I said in the winter, actually, before the Ashes series, I was amazed that England didn't put him in the squad because I can quite easily see Liam Livingstone having a test career at number 6 or 7, being that all-round player. He bowls a bit of off-spin, a bit of leg spin, brilliant fielder, can play that kind of aggressive role from 6 or 7. I think he's got a technique that's better than some of the players that I've seen getting picked for England in recent times. He's got a first-class record, an average of near on 40. Again, it's a lot better than some of the players that England have been picking. And I think he offers them an all-round game that's not just the batter that can be aggressive. I think he's also, as I said before, a bowler that can bowl different variations, it can field, and also that confidence that he has in himself. Once you've got players who ultimately believe, he kind of drags 1 or 2 others in the dressing room with him as well. And if I was England and whoever becomes the director and the coach, it might be Justin Langer. Lisa, you never know.
Could be Rob Keys as well for your managing director.
Maybe Rob Key might be director and maybe Justin Langer as coach. I would be getting hold of Liam Livingstone and trying to see if we can get him into being a test cricketer as well.
Well, yeah, they do love double L, do Punjab. The only L they don't like is if they have that L next to their name at the end of the game. So how do they avoid that, Lisa? Because as Michael already alluded, this is the kind of total after what the first half they've done that would be right up Hyderabad Street.
Yeah, this is a total that they like, and Abhishek Sharma and obviously Kane Williamson know how to pace it as well, pace the innings. They've done that before. Punjab just have to take wickets. They've got to blow them out of the top within the power play, start to see that middle order sooner rather than later. Then they give themselves chance. Then they can try and squeeze and hopefully try and get a little bit of scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, they've got a person who swings the ball in Vaibhav Arora. They've got the class of Kagiso Rabada. But do they have an X factor in that bowling lineup that could perhaps blow them out of the water?
Kagiso Rabada is the X factor. He's outstanding. I don't see them having that wow factor bowler, but it's the IPL. There's runs on the board. All it takes is a couple of early wickets. All it takes is a brilliant run out, a flying catch. That kind of build up of the scoreboard pressure will come if you get wickets. But you just think that this is all so far gone to a T for the Sunrise. This is what they do. They bowl first, they restrict, and then they don't have to do too much with the batting hand. They can just play. And if someone like Tripathi comes out and plays, and Pooran plays those cameo innings, it's not going to be a big enough target, particularly if Kane or Aidan Markram stays in there and played that anchor role. But you just never know. I don't think it's a pure wicket. I don't think it's the perfect wicket. I don't think it's the kind of pitch that you can just throw your hands at the ball and I think you hit through the lines and length with so much confidence. I think there's just a little bit there for the bowler. I think we might be in for a nipper. I think we might be in for a close one.
Fair point there. But I think that, once again, re-illustrates the point, Lisa, as we conclude our show over here, of why Kane Williamson, once again, on this occasion for sure, would want to have bowled first. Because if the pitch isn't as ideal as you think it is, then you'd much rather have 20 overs with your bowlers to get an idea of what it's doing, and then let your batters do the job.
Yeah, you were right. You don't mess around with Kane, do you?
No.
But all right, let's get a prediction in.
Let's wait and see. If they get bowled out for 110, it's a poor call. So we're in the best position in the house. We're under no pressure. We can say what we want. Kane's made the call, and so far it's looked a good one. But he's still going to get the runs.
Fair point. But are we still in agreement that the Orange Army remain the favourites?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So then let's get a number. Let's get a number in since we missed out. I tried low bowling. I just didn't go low enough. I didn't account for Imran Malik. Otherwise, I was well on track for my 170. But let's get a number for the power play because this will be an interesting one. They've got a less than par total to chase. They're not going to go hard. They never go hard. But how unhard will they go, if I can coin a word? Michael?
I'll go 42.
All right, 42. Unhard. Can you think of a better word for me as well?
Restrained.
Conservative. Restrained.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's bettering. Unhard. Okay, Lisa, there you go. One from you.
37.
37. Oh dear. No, that's not making it unhard for me to choose, am I? I can't go lower than that. Let me just get a few streaky boundaries here and then go to 48 then. Let me go to 48. That's not Sunrisers like, but you never know. Unhard. If I can say things like that, I can give any number I like. That's all we have on the show right now. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lisa. Cricbuzz Live will be back between games, of course, but we will see you in the 10th over on Cricbuzz Combox. That's all for now.